A few seconds before we officially start. Hello, my name is Yvette Ricard. I am the marketing coordinator for Beadalon and Artistic Wire. And I want to welcome you to my second class doing wire string art. I'm typically behind the scenes. I do the social media and marketing for Beadalon, and over quarantine time, I dabbled into string art with wire, and I realized that I had a secret inner passion for it. I've never done string art before. This was kind of just like a fun craft that I dabbled into, and any excuse to hammer nails was very therapeutic during quarantine time, which I'm sure a lot of us can relate to when we're trying to keep our sanity. So it was just something fun to do. I learned just by watching YouTube and seeing things on Pinterest, and I realized that it's not hard to do. It's super easy, and I wanted to share that with everybody on how to use our wires instead of thread for string art. And so I'm glad that you're here with me today. So first things first, a little bit of our company. We are Beadalon and Artistic Wire. We are a manufacturer of beading jewelry wire. So you may have noticed our products at Michael's in the beading section. And our wires are typically used for jewelry making, beading, and fashion accessories. And you can also use our wire for crafts. And that's why I was super excited when I was asked to teach these classes, because I know how to make all the jewelry, but it's not my forte. But this definitely tickled my creative bone, as you can say. And so yeah, I wanted to share it with you. Moving forward, if you have more questions, feel free to chat, put them in the chat room. Everybody's muted right now, but Meredith is also here from Beadalon, which you probably have seen in the jewelry making classes. So she's here to answer any questions. And if you have any other, if you want to see this later, this class is being recorded and will be available on the Michael's website and on the YouTube channel between 24 and 48 hours. So yeah, welcome everybody. Thanks, Judy. Thanks. I'm glad that you were able to do my last class. That's super. Makes my heart happy. So yeah, let me just go over what we're going to do real quick, and then I'll go over the supplies and materials that we're going to need. So this is a project that we're going to do, which I thought is super fun. Can you see? It's a wood panel painted gold with a Christmas tree, and I thought this was like a fun, easy pattern to do because it's really super simple, and then you can add some bling with the gold beads. Okay, so I'll show you how to do that. So first things first, Meredith has already shared the instructions in the chat, so if you didn't see that already in your emails, they're there. But again, this project is super easy, so you'll watch and you'll see you probably don't even need instructions. So first things first, let's go over the materials. Move over here. Okay, everybody see okay? It's lagging a little bit, I think, on my end. Okay, how's that? So first of all, first things first, you're gonna need a surface.
Hey, Yvette. Yvette, your phone is frozen. You might need to take the audio through your computer real quick. Your phone froze.
How's it now?
So you need to take figure out what's going on with your phone real quick. Sorry, everybody.
Technical difficulties. How's that?
So you need to, something is reverberating. You need to take one of the sounds off. Or maybe I just need to stop talking. You're muted in both places now.
How's that?
You're muted.
I'm sorry, everybody. How's that? I'm sorry, everybody. Okay, let's try this again. Is that better? Yes, thumbs up, everybody. Okay, thank you. Yes, thumbs up, everybody. Okay, thank you. Okay, let's try this again. Sorry for my slow connection. Okay, so we talked about the wood panel, right? This is from Walnut Hollow. And then this is the paint that I use. This is by FolkArt, the Treasure Gold color. They come in a whole bunch of metallic colors, and this color I thought was super shiny, but not streaky. You're gonna need your hammer, nails, and these are 3/4 inch nails, and you can find these at Home Depot or Lowe's or any of your hardware store. And this is 18 gauge. Okay. You're gonna need your wire, which is 26 gauge. This is a silver wire. This is non-tarnish. And so the difference between artistic wire is the fact that these are all copper wires. So they're very soft and malleable. So 26 gauge is actually very thin and it's very thread-like. So it's not hard at all. So when you're threading through the nails, it doesn't hurt your fingers or anything like that. It's super soft and malleable. So speaking of gauges, artistic wire does come in a variety of other gauges. And just to show you the difference, this is a 14 gauge and see how thick that is. So it comes in a variety of gauges all the way from like 10 to even 30 gauge, which is super thin. Okay, so the higher the number, the thinner the wire is. Okay, so we're also going to need some flat nose or needle nose pliers. And these are the type that you find also at a hardware store. And you need these, well, you don't need it, but it helps. These have the teeth in it. So I use this to actually hold the nail in place rather than sometimes getting too aggressive with your hammer and sometimes accidentally hammering your fingers. And that's not always fun. You're going to need a cutter for your wire. And these are the glass beads. And you can use any glass beads you want. I love these because, again, it matched the color of the paint and it's super shiny, and shiny things make me happy. Okay, so let's get started. Oh, I also forgot to mention, an optional is a bead mat, which is this kind of like a little velvety fabric, little blanket that's very useful when making jewelry because the beads don't roll away on your surface. If you don't have a bead mat, a towel or a placemat will also work. So this is super handy when you're hammering because it also prevents vibration on the nails and reduces the noise a little bit as well. Okay, so I had preemptively painted this wood surface, and it's easy to do with a foam brush. I recommend doing it with a foam brush to minimize the streaks. But as you can see, I love this metallic matte color. It's not too vibrant, and I'm just in love with this paint. So as you can see, it kind of is reflective, but matte at the same time. So in the instructions, there is a template for the Christmas tree. And I had already predetermined where the nails go. But if you don't want to do this particular one, if you want to do something else, like another form of a Christmas tree or another shape, all you have to do is just print out your image, like a clip art image or an outline, and just with a Sharpie or marker, just mark down where your nails would be and just measure it by eye. And that kind of gives you a placement of where to nail your pattern. I find that that's easier to do rather than just randomly hammering nails because it kind of gives you an idea of spacing and placement of the nails. So yeah, this template I just cut out, put it to shape, put it centered on your wood panel, and just start hammering where the dots are. Okay, so I had already started that. And let's get some nails and finish this up. This is where the pliers come in handy. I place the nail right in between and I lay the pliers flat. See? Flat against the wood panel. You take your hammer and just hammer through. So you might realize that your nails do not come in, are not being hammered straight. And see, like I just did right now. But that's okay, because once you put the wire on it, you won't even see it. So really the best thing is just the placement of the nails. I feel is the important step right now. Yeah, so when I first started this over the summer, spring, summer, I have two-year-old twins, and I was starting to do this during their nap time because it was the safest, or the safest time to do it, because obviously I don't want nails and hammering around 2-year-olds. But then I soon realized that the nap time probably wasn't the best time, because obviously my hammering woke them up. And then I had some grumpy 2-year-olds. So that's where this placemat or a bead mat definitely is a lifesaver to reduce that noise. There's just something about having a heavy tool and hammering something that just was just my relief of sanity at the time. So having the needle nose pliers also is helpful, especially if you have nails that are kind of in close proximity to each other. It kind of helps place the nail in between the small tight spots. So that's another trick there too. All right, so once we have that all hammered, you're going to rip the paper off. Okay, do one last hammer through, make sure kind of all the nails are same height. None of them are loose. Okay, you got your nails. So now we're going to take the wire and you're just going to wrap the end of the wire around the head of the nail 1 or 2 times like this. And then just crisscross however you want. There is no rhyme or reason. And you're basically filling in the shape with the wire. So it's your preference if you want to make it look like it's really full and covered, or if you want it thin and scarce, or if you want to go in a pattern, that's completely your decision.
Hey, Yvette.
Yes.
When you get a moment, can you either pull your camera down or put the bring their work up, just so that people can see kind of how far the nails are going in, and really kind of how you're wrapping around those nail heads?
How's that?
Well, we'll see. It looks good to me, but like just angle it up so people can see how far those nails are hammered in. There you go. Perfect, perfect, perfect. I think that'll help people answer
you definitely don't. Yeah, that's a good point, Meredith. You don't want to hammer all the way through. You just want them deep enough so they don't move or fall out of place. Because you will use some tension once you wrap the wire around the nail heads. So you don't want them loose. Okay, so here's where the fun comes, and then here's the randomness of it all. Okay, then I'm going to go on this side and just go diagonally. And remember, the way you wrap the wire is completely your preference. If you want to go one direction and do the whole shape that way, that's completely fine. If you want to change it up right in the middle, go right ahead. Okay. Let's go this way. Okay, now let's go. Let's see. Oh, let's finish it up here. I'm going to move this around so I'm not blocking it with my hand. Okay. You're going to want to use the entire spool. You see I'm almost at the end of the spool, so you're going to want to do as much as the wire as there is on the spool. You're going to actually need 2 spools for this project. One for filling up the tree itself, and then to wrap the beads around. Okay, so as you can see, I'm finishing up. I'm just taking the spool off the wire off the bobbin here. Okay. Okay, when I come to the end here, I'm just going to wrap it around so it doesn't unravel. I'm going to take another spool here, 26 gauge wire. Okay, and then I'm going to fill it up a little bit more because I don't want to see as much gold behind the wire, so just a little bit more. And then we'll move on to the next step. Now, if you wanted to do this with a thicker gauge wire, you can. But just keep in mind that the softness of the wire is not going to be as malleable. So it might be a little bit more difficult, but it is doable. And I'll just go one more time around. Okay, there we go, all filled in. Now the next step is you're going to want to weave your wire in between the nails to give it an outline. Okay, so all you have to do is just zigzag it back and forth. Okay, and then you're going to want to zigzag it the opposite direction. So it forms like a little X in between the nails. I don't know if you can see that. Okay, and once you have that part complete, you're just going to wrap the wire completely around the shape. And to hold it in place, sometimes on corners like this, I just wrap the wire around so it doesn't unravel. And so it stays secure. I want to do it, if some nails are a little wonky and they're not in line perfectly, I kind of go around each of the nails just so they're not, so the wire isn't too loose. So like this one right here is a little crooked. Okay, there you go. You have it all wrapped up. So I'm just going to take this end of the wire, wrap it around the nail head a few times, get your cutter, and cut the end of the wire close to the nail. The key, before you let the wire unravel, or else if you let this go, the wire may unravel off the spool. Just tuck it in between that little slit in the spool right here and tuck it in. So that way, when you grab it next time, it's all in place and it doesn't go anywhere. Now for these little tails, I'm going to also cut those off. so now you have your tree. So if you wanted to, you could leave it like this, but like I said earlier, I like sparkly things, so we're gonna add some beads to make it look like the lights. So these are some, this actually was a 4-strand of beads, and I used it, the smaller beads for my first sample here. Okay, so they do come in a variety of beads, or a variety of sizes, I should say. And for this one, I think I'm gonna use, let's see, let's use the next smaller size. I'm just gonna cut them off. Again, this is where the bead mat comes into play. Place it here on my bead mat so they don't roll away. Okay, then you're gonna take about 2 feet of wire. Now, I'm not going to cut it off the spool. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to, again, slide it through that little slit that's in the spool. So you're going to have the wire free like this, okay? What you're going to do is you're going to put your beads directly onto the wire. And then another key, let's see if this works, is sliding your wire directly through the hole while it's already on the strand. Save you a little bit of the time and heartache to find all the holes. And then just push all the beads down. So you're basically just threading all the beads directly from the strand onto the wire. Okay, that's good enough for now. Okay, see, so now you have a strand of beads directly onto the spool. You're going to take the end of the wire and you're going to wrap the end onto one of the nail heads. I like to start up at top. Okay, and then you're just going to push one of the beads through, down, and then wrap the wire any which way you want. You need to do 1 to 2 at a time. It's completely your preference. Leave, see here, I put 4 on the strand and just leaving them kind of float into place. Zigzagging, if that's the word. The wire down. Oops, forgot to put beads on that one. And then once you have the wire, just place the beads where you want them, because they're just going to sit in place. They're not going to move anywhere. Okay, and then they come to the end, wrapping the wire through a few times. Cut that off. this tail off up here. And you have your Christmas tree. What do you think? Super easy, right? Does anybody have any questions?
So yeah, Yvette, if you can do kind of a close-up show just so people can see the top, and then also how many layers of wire you have in there. I think that one of the things that's so cool about this project is there's kind of no rules. So you do all of your wrapping until you like how it looks.
Exactly. Nope, that you're exactly right. You basically either fill it more with wire. I mean, you could have finished this whole spool, the second spool, and add more layers if you wanted to. But I like the gold peeking through a little bit. And again, it is your preference. And then once you wrap the beads on, you just kind of zigzag it through, and you kind of have like a three-dimensional design.
And if you wanted to get super fancy, you could use different colors of wire also.
Yes, you can. Because artistic wire does come in a variety of other colors. But Michaels has, I think, gold and silver, or maybe just silver. But yes, the possibilities are endless with the wire, that's for sure. So for all of our friends who celebrate Hanukkah, I also did this other piece here of a menorah, and it's the same exact concept. And this, I took a template, and instead of a shape, I actually wire wrapped in between the nails to give it the outline. And then for the nail heads up here, I glued Swarovski flatback crystals to give it that look of a flame. And this is actually done with the metallic blue color paint by FolkArt, which I thought was super fun. Has a nice sheen to it. And there's a template for this as well. I think Meredith might have shared it. Oh, yep, she did. Thanks, Meredith.
I love the Swarovski crystals for the candle flames. That's my favorite part.
I do too. Let's see. Oh, so I was experimenting with other techniques other than wire string art. I actually drilled holes into this wood coaster, and I did a back stitch using the wire. And this could be like a fun little ornament. You can hang on the tree, or you could do an initial to hang on your stocking or for your tree. And then speaking of other colors of wire, I also did, well, this is artistic wire snowflake with more crystals to give it more of that bling. And then here's Rudolph with a shiny red flat back that I glued on there. Oops. Isn't it cute? This is, again, artistic wire does come in different colors, so that's why you see this one. I actually painted the nail heads brown, so it kind of blends in with the design. Here's another one, candy cane. The green tree, yes. Thought you would never ask. So here is a ginormous tree. Here, let me move the camera back a little bit so you can see this better. This is a wood surface that you could also buy at Michael's, and I actually stained the top brown. So it kind of gives it that rustic, raw feel of a tree. And this is with the green color artistic wire. And these are all Swarovski crystal beads that I threaded the same exact way. And for the star, I glued more flatback crystals on the top. And this lighting does not do it justice. Like, as everybody knows, the Swarovski crystals, it gives like this incredible shine and shimmer. So when you have this out, it definitely grabs your eye for home decor. Let's see what else. Oh yeah, this last one I did more for the holidays. Because this is how we all feel, right? Christmas calories don't count. With a little gingerbread man. And again, more flat back crystals to camouflage those nail heads and give it some extra sparkle. I thought that was fun. This one is in my kitchen right now, so I don't feel any guilt when I eat all the yummy foods from last weekend until the end of the year, right? Until we all go into resolutions and we try to get in shape again. So I think that's about it. Does anybody else have any other questions?
Someone asked about what glue that you used to affix the flatbacks. Do you use Bead Fix gel or do you use something else?
It is a Bead Fix gel.
Yeah, okay, I posted the link for that.
Yeah. All right, guys. Well, I appreciate everybody joining me today. Again, this class is being recorded and will be available on YouTube on the Michaels channel and on the Michaels website in 24 to 48 hours. And if you want more inspiration on design templates and other nail templates, we have them on our website as well on beadalon.com. So feel free to take a look at all the other projects I have done. And if that's it, then I guess this is the kickoff to the holidays. So I hope you add this little piece to your decor, give it to as a gift. And I hope you had fun. I appreciate it. Thanks everybody for joining me.